Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge here with the Tuesday card reveals. This is the last reveal stream for DZBT 12. I believe with this stream we'll have all of the cards. And we have one light card of the day batch to go over that gave us the last two Dark States double rares. Let us get into it. Alright, so it turned out that the two Dark States double rares were Selseera support. One is direct Selseera support, and the other is a fairly generic order that you are meant to use in Selseera. So we have a grade 1 double rare for Selseera, which is Sword Drop during your ride phase. When a grade 3 or greater Selseera Vanguard is placed, you can either, if you do not have a rare with the same name as this card, you can call it 2 rare, so good old maple stuff. Or you can bind it to search and to dump from your deck a normal unit that doesn't share the same name as any card in your soul or bind zone. Pretty cool. Is normal unit correct? No, the normal unit is completely incorrect. What the hell is this, Freedom Duo? Then dump a normal order. I was like, normal unit doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Selseera to be doing. It's a big like order based deck. No, it dumps a normal order with a different name from the cards in your soul and bind zone. And then when it boosts and you have a grade 3 or greater Selseera Vanguard, it gets power plus 5k. So it's just a basic 13k booster. Cool. Then at grade 3, new order, we have put this into Soul. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and shove one of them into Soul. Return the rest of the bottom of your deck. Then you can call a card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your Soul to Rearguard Circle. And then during your turn, if this card is discarded from your hand, you can put it into your soul if you choose to. This is a quite good generic order. Like obviously it fulfills the things that Selseera wants to be doing. Because if I recall correctly, Selseera like can play normal orders from its soul. Yes, Selseera can play a normal order from its soul. The effect that would bind it, as you would expect, from when played from soul, also only activates when the card would go to drop after playing, which doesn't happen with this card. So I believe you just get to keep reusing the single copy of this card, which is pretty good for Selseera, but it's also just a really good card in general. If I recall correctly, there was a grade 3 normal order that would call something from your soul and give it power plus 5,000. Yeah, Cage of Furious Star, which is soul charge 1, calls something from your soul, then it gets power plus 5k. This is basically just a strictly better version of that because it lets you look top 3 instead of just a random soul charge. Very nice. I remember Blankdemeyer used to use that card. I'd be very unsurprised if Blankdemeyer uses this card, especially because like the turn 3 divine skill variants really appreciate this card because this is another way by which you can go get one of the grade 3s that when they are put into soul immediately bind themselves face down. This is another way of triggering those, which is what you are trying to accelerate into in order to get your divine skill off early. Which I do not like that being more enabled, but it is what it is. I would have liked if this was grade 2 because Dark States is still in a weird place where like it can't really, there's no like generic options for using Orions and having like an Orions package. And if this was grade 2, it would be perfect for enabling that. But as a grade 3, it's a bit slower than you would want it to be. You aren't able to get that online turn 2. Feels like most decks have really moved past the Teeth Fault type packages, and they're becoming less and less popular to even do if you even have access to them. So it might be past the window in which Orions could be real good. But who knows? Who could say? Who could say? We haven't gotten that good grade 2 or less generic order yet in Dark States. Might be too late, might not. We'll find out when we finally get one because this is unfortunately grade 3 and is a bit too late to enable that sort of thing. All right. Let us talk about the the Tuesday stream. All right. Um, so they revealed information regarding the Hikari and Erika deck sets, including what is in them. I always think that these deck sets are horrendously overpriced um for what they are. Like they are supposed to be entry products, and like $50 for an entry product is awful, just completely dog shit. Um, but I will say in both these cases, there was a ridiculously expensive single, um, that was so expensive that even a reprint in a $50 product, is going to bring it down a lot. For Gab, it's Gabrielius. For Eric for Erica, it's Gabrielius, which is here at 4 copies. Um, and for Hikari, it is Avarice Wrestler, which is here at 4 copies as well. So bring both those down is going to be pretty fantastic. Very happy to see that. Um, the is this the vanilla front in Hikari's? Why? Why is this rainbow triggers in here? Oh my god, this is rainbow triggers too. Holy shit. Is that the vanilla front too? Oh my god. Why can't we even put like effect triggers in these things? Are you kidding me, man? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous that these things are like $50 and they won't even put effect triggers in them, man. Like that's absurd. It's so stupid. These like I'll appreciate the reprints on Avarice Wrestler and Gabrielius, because those cards are super expensive and these will bring down the prices on them. But like the fact that in precons this expensive, we won't even reprint effect triggers is completely absurd. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But we have these like character art sanctitudes, which are nice, I guess. Um, and then we have the mat and deck box, which is and sleeves, which is cool that come with it. Um, and and these triggers that you can pull. Ugh, instead of just putting effect triggers in the set, you have a possibility of pulling the effect trigger that's actually good. Whoa, crazy. Thanks, man. Ugh, just infuriating. I hope the actual precons that aren't master deck sets, like the actual star deck products, continue the trend that the Skyrise star decks are. Because like, why are the Skyrise star decks better than master deck sets? Um, at like at a normal price, like at a normal precon price. Like it's completely absurd. It's completely absurd that this is the case, but it is the case. Um, like having the sleeves and whatever with it, it just not does not justify it in the least. Um, yeah, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating the state of Vanguard precons, and I can only hope that our normal star decks follow the trend of the Skywrite star decks, which are actually good precons. All right, let's actually talk about the new cards. So, we have Gancelot. So Gancelot, grade 3. If you have a Vanguard with Royal Paladin in its clan and you do not have cards in your G zone, it gets all of the following. When it's discarded from your hand, you can return to the bottom of your deck, search and reveal up to one Blaster Blade from your deck, add it to your hand, and shuffle the deck. And then when it attacks and you do not have another rear with the same name as this unit in the front row, and there's a Blaster Blade in your soul, During this battle, this unit gets power plus 5,000 for each of your opponent's grade. And if you do, after the battle, by returning this unit to the bottom of your deck, um, after the battle, you have to return this to the bottom of your deck after. But then you get to add a can add a blaster blade from your soul or drop to your hand. That is up to one, right? Mother, yeah. Okay. Being up to one there is pretty important. I think that's really important. Because the crit gain mode would be completely worthless in Alfred otherwise. This dependence on Blaster Blade is kind of really annoying. Because Blaster Blade is just not a good card. And they have made no effort to retrain it into a good card, which is frustrating. And this card's dependent on Blaster Blade means like you just have to run Blaster Blade. I think Alfred had other dependence on Blaster Blade though. Yeah. Alfred had other dependence on Blaster Blade to begin with. Um, so it needed Blaster Blade in its ride line regardless. But it's a bit annoying. Especially because Blaster Blade is such a bad ride line piece. But whatever. Um, so thankfully, because this is up to one, you can just like not add back the Blaster Blade from Soul. You can just leave it in there. So this can continue to be a 28k attacker with 2 crit, which is very good. Those are very good attacker numbers to be having. Yeah, it's very very nice. I like those. I like those power numbers quite a lot. Now, like naturally, the Alfred deck already had access to the Soul Saver Vergilla and the Gallatin Zero as good attackers. Um, However, the Zero does not get quite as big as Gancelot. It's like a plus 10k compared to this plus 18. A plus 15, I mean, on a 13 base. Um, and it's getting plus 5 for the Soul Saver as well. But I think the big thing is that this doesn't cost any Counterblast. Now, of course, Alfred reduces the Counterblast cost for the auto of the card calls, but it's only going to be able to call one of them. And then Alfred's restand of your 2 front row also costs a Counterblast. So the nice thing that this enables is that by using this as your other front row attacker, you are able to do a single Counterblast turn, which if you did with Alfred before, you were losing out on some of your offense. So it's very good that this works this way. And because you can just choose not to get the crit. Oh wow, the Freedom Duo one just doesn't mention the crit. Yeah. Um yeah, it's you can get a crit. And if you got the crit, um you have to return to the bottom. So you can just not get the crit, just get the plus 15. Also, you can get crit when your opponent's on grade 2 still, which is very strong. Very good offensive presence when it's still getting like plus 10 and a crit. Like, that's really strong. That is very, very strong. So yeah, this has a lot of good properties going for it. I like it a lot. I think it's probably I think it's overall probably a bit better than Zero. As an attacker, Zero you still want to have because like once your opponent is on 5 damage, Zero does kind of edge out because of the Sentinel restrict it has. But this is still quite a good card because it's going to be hitting like 33 solo with the support of the Soul Saver. Yeah, Soul Saver is going to be pumping this to 33. On Persona Ride turn, it's going to be 43. And then there's like, then you put like a 10k or higher booster behind it. That's going to be pumped to 15 by the Soul Saver. So on the crit swing, it's like 58 with the boost, which is absurd. That's really good numbers. So yeah, this is a really good attacker. Um Now for the Blaster Blade return effect, and the first effect of this card, the discard fodder, because like obviously you're not going to be using that first effect in Alfred. That seems quite good for MLB. Um, and like adding back Blaster Blades is probably quite nice for MLB. Especially because like it allows you to continually enable the MLB Soul in effect. I forget which one you get for Blaster Blade. Is Blaster Blade the drive check gain? Okay, no. Unfortunately, Blaster Blade is the retired. Blaster Dark is the drive check gain, which is not super ideal. But it allows you to reuse one part of that, which is neat. It's cool to have. Um, yeah. It seems quite nice for both of those stacks. I like this card a lot. Um, Plus 15k, like anytime I see plus 15k on an attacker, it's like, oh, this is probably a pretty good card because that is not super common. It is not very common to see plus 15. Also, if you're against Tree, you get to go, I get plus 50k. Fuck you for existing. I am going to swing for 63. Fuck you. Um, okay, so this is double rare. Um, this is Knight F Restoration Grisons. If you have a Vanguard with only Royal Paladin for its clan, it becomes a Royal Paladin. When it's placed on rear from hand and you have a grade 3 or greater Alfred Vanguard, it gets power plus 2k for the turn. Then, if you have not countercharged that turn, Soul Blast 2, countercharge 1. So in addition to Alfred not costing any counterblast, this means that you can do your turn from no counterblast. Um, you can go into a turn completely damage denied, call this countercharge. You can potentially call it off Alfred, if you really need to. Um, yeah, call this countercharge, um, or like you can go like I already have Soul Saver established. Soul Saver didn't get cleared. I can go. I can then go use Alfred effect, call out this, get the countercharge I need, um, which is quite nice. And then if you have a Vanguard with only Royal Paladin in his clan, it gets intercept and can intercept from the back row, which is always nice to have. That's always like a very nice attribute to have. We're seeing that on more and more cards, but I'm never gonna mind seeing this. This is just very good. Just like increases the overall shield value you get from your board. Yeah, very nice. And then the new Overtrigger. So its additional effect is the attacking unit gets critical +1 and drive +1 during this battle. Um, I guess this can be good with like drive check gaining rears, like decks that do that. Like Gabrielius decks, this could be good in, but like this seems really bad. This seems like really just a worse version of Blue OT. Um, because like an important part of Blue OT, and I played with Dark States OT in Darfitals for a while, which has a similar problem to what this has, in that I only I can only apply the crit to the attacking unit. That's 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 not good. That's really bad for the versatility. Um, it means that your opponent is completely safe from the crit. Um, Unless you check another one, of course. With just a PG. Um, which is really not great. It's really not very good for that to be the case. Like you get drive +1, but that's not all that stronger than like what you're getting with the drop effect from Blue OT, or like the other things that the other OTs do. Like this doesn't seem good at all. I think this is quite bad. I think this is quite poor. Um, yeah, and like even Gabrielius decks. It's like I feel like if you wanted an OT that gives you extra drive checks in Gabrielius, I think you would kind of rather have have the Keter OT. I don't know. I think this is not good. I think I think this is just bad. I don't think like all the previous generic OTs that we've gotten in like the festival boosters, all of them have been like, even the worst of them has been like, okay, there's this has some applications. There's probably some deck that wants this. Like there are applications for purple and yellow. There are decks that want those cards. Um, I have a really hard time seeing anything, any type of deck, even that you would want this over blue for, or over the other OTs for. This just seems bad. I don't think this card's any good. Yeah, I just don't think this card is any good. Yeah. All right, that's it for DC 12. I certainly do not mind the new OT being bad. Much better than it being good. Uh, like Red OT has proven to be a nightmare. And I'm glad we're not adding a new nightmare to the format, I suppose. Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for me. This is Hunter Search signing off.